This has been a highly requested video. I see all your comments. I have not personally seen this yet. Trixie Mattel has done their own tour, not AD sponsored or anything. They decided to do one. So you know what? We are going to see if it's Design Daddy approved. And once again, this is going to be a blind react just for you. I've been told the video is a little long, so we're gonna cut right to it.
Hi AD, never mind, they didn't ask. Hi, it's Trixie Mattel and this is my YouTube channel and this is my beautiful home. This is our cute little sitting area. There's previously nothing out here and obviously some little plants, little bench, little pillows. I can do things like talk to my mom on the phone. I can wait for my food from Uber Eats. This home had a lot of rain damage because of some of the uncharacteristic rains in Los Angeles. So all the way up here, the reason we have brand new little chandeliers up here is because we had to rip up the tile up there, dig it all up. If you watch the show, you know, we had to like reseal it, re-waterproof it. It took forever and so much extra money. This tiny little like cafe table, the babbling brook over there. Well, it's a fountain. This is such a fun way to use extra space. Something I think is the bonus of living in California is like anywhere outside your house can be like an extra living room. And this for breakfast in the morning is amazing.
Okay, so the front of the house, you know, not too bad, nothing overly special. I do love the cute little chandelier outside. I feel like this is very on brand for her. I'm not a huge fan of like the pop of color, especially the fact that is that seafoam green. I am personally victimized by that color. So that is already not off to a great start. Otherwise, I think it's fantastic to start like this. The opening, amazing. Who needs AD to do a tour when you can do it yourself? I have not watched the whole show about the hotel that she mentioned, but I feel like I may have to now that I'm watching this.
There's a lot to take in. This room, I think, started as an ambitious idea with a lot of color and print, and it ended up being a very ambitious room with a lot of color and print. What I love about this room is I love pink, but David kind of had the idea of making it more green centered so that it feels more grounded and like a calm living room, but the pink still really pops on green. So we knew we wanted this pink couch from Joybird. It is huge. It is like entire groups of people can sprawl out on it. It's so comfortable. Something else I love about this room is it's a nice mix of some really high-end custom cool stuff and some really thrifty stuff. This console, it's a very expensive console. Very expensive. They gave us an incredible deal, but it's a giant, super heavy custom ceramic console that's mounted to the wall that floats. It was like 300 pounds. It took like 4 people to lift it and mount it on the wall.
Okay, so the outdoors, I would have completely skipped that and started with the living room because this is actually really exciting. This is definitely not my personal style. This is maximalist to the height and to the peak of overall design. Honestly, I think she did a fantastic job at really curating all of these pieces all together when it comes to all the details. One, I think this hand-painted, or it looks like a hand-painted mural for the wallpaper that really surrounds the entire room is one, really, really cool. Two, and it really adds to the flair and the effect of this design that they want to achieve. Another great thing to point out is the color combination. Green and pink is absolutely fantastic. It is a winning combination in any scenario, no matter the hue, light or dark. And the combination of the pinks and greens that are in the wallpaper, as well as the actual art on the frame TV, really pull from the pillows, the sofa, the rug, and all these little details. The stained glass windows, I think, are an amazing combination to add to really enhance that eclectic maximalist look where it actually looks like it belongs there. It doesn't look like it's out of place. This is a huge thing that a lot of people get incorrect when it comes to designing and really adding decor in around this maximalist style. It can look very busy and very trashy really quickly, and I love this combination of everything. And the realistic expectation of this really heavy console, you have no idea how worried I am about even my TV that's mounted to the wall. I'm like, one day I'm gonna come out and it's gonna fall. I don't trust it at all.
And then when I came in, I was like, it's gay in here. You can tell a gay person owned this home because there was dimmers. You know what I mean? If we're being honest, straight people love overhead lighting with one setting, and gay people, we're insecure, okay? We need strategic lighting.
Oh my God, that is literally the best comment I think I have ever heard of how realistic this is. Gay people are insecure. We want those dimmers. We want low ambient light. We want to look good all the time. Those overhead lights are not doing anyone any favors at any time of the day.
And this is the dining room. This is probably my favorite room in the house, but it's also the room that gave me a heart attack on several occasions. Let me explain. When this table came, this beautiful table, this was supposed to be like a deep jade. When it came and it was this like aqua, my heart stopped. I mean, it was the day of the dinner party and the wrong color table. It was a custom painted table.
Okay, the living room in combination with this dining space when you first walk in, I think are really great because once again, that color palette is cohesive throughout this entire open concept of the two rooms when you first enter, but also it's balanced. We are heavier on the green in the living room and we're heavier on the pink in the dining room. I also would be very upset with that dining table because the color doesn't match. I would have wanted it more towards that green versus the teal that it really is. It's almost pulling that aquamarine of those chairs that we have in the front, which aren't the greatest, but the shapes and the textures of everything really tie all together. The gold ceiling is a fantastic addition to really heighten that over-the-top space without it feeling like too crazy. Like she said, she wanted a good combination of like over the top, but also looking really good. And I think they achieved it really well for this maximalist space. The chairs, the dining table, the chargers, all of the tablescape, I think is amazing, really directed towards this style. Color combinations can be really excessive if you're going too matchy-matchy, and this really feels good. I'm so far really impressed. I was not as impressed with the outdoors, but I mean, can't really do much with it, but this, I think we're on a great start so far.
Should we go to the Butlers Pantry? So now we're in the Butlers Pantry. Again, we don't have a butler. I don't know what you would call it. Some people probably use this as a sunroom. You could make it into a little library. We chose to do kind of like a observatory, plant room, little writing desk.
All right, so this Butler's Pantry is kind of like a hit or a miss. I like that they felt a little bit more cohesive. We brought that pink into the space. I like that you have that juxtaposition between all of this naturally stained dark wood that is probably native to the original home itself. The bird cages are kind of fun. I like that they've created that cohesiveness of like her liking birds and like there's all these motifs. I'm not sure if this is some kind of like cry for help with all the cages. This could be coded, we never know. But otherwise, I think the cohesiveness of really bringing this bird theme throughout also adds to this maximalist effect, which is really cool. I am going to deduct points for all of these fake plants because why? You have all this beautiful light. You have these easy pothos plants that are super easy to maintain. Why not just carry those through? The ferns, yes, they add that extra texture and dimension into it, but they're all fake. I could tell they're fake. We're gonna lose a point on that one. But overall, I think it's great. I think it also continues to it. Once again, not my personal style, but having some ambient light in here while you're having a dinner party or hosting really allows, like they say, that depth of dimension of having an additional space that's open to it that feels connected.
To the kitchen. So this kitchen, when we started it, it was like, we love pink, I love pink, David loves pink, and it was like, we don't want to do all pink. Cut to 5 seconds later, everything is pink. I think it was like a slippery slope. Once one thing was pink, it was like, well, let's do a little more, and then here we are. We're in like, you know, a kitchen made by the people who make pink like school erasers.
It is a far cry from HGTV when you see people saying, I have a budget of $40,000 or $50,000 for an entire home renovation. I'm sorry, that is not realistic. That does not happen. A lot of those other shows are sponsored, like the appliances are provided, the flooring is provided, you know, sometimes the paint and the combination of fabrication is combined. Having this real expectation of knowing that, you know, this shit actually costs a lot of money. Rose quartz is so beautiful. And yes, they range anywhere from like $18,000 to about $28,000 or almost $30,000 a slab. Oh, that's very unfortunate how expensive they are, but it really does look so beautiful. I'm not sure if I would have chosen a quartz for the actual countertop of this caliber because it is such a sensitive material. I probably would have gone for a quartzite. That way you can actually have a more detailed dimension and it is a lot more honed and it allows you to be, you know, a little bit less caring about it. You're not gonna get etching and staining from it, but I think they did a really good job on this combination. Do I like all the pink? It is a lot of pink. I think we went a little bit overboard. There's one thing about having that color combination that feels cohesive throughout all of your spaces, but committing an entire room to it, is a little bit much for me. It's giving like Barbie. I love the other little specific details that they pulled in. The brass works really well with that pink, but at least it's not an entire leopard print kitchen because that was just a disaster. The commitment to this pink and all the little details, I have to applaud them because that is a lot. Also, re-enameling appliances is very expensive. At the same time, those appliances were already pretty expensive to add in. I'm not a huge fan of the tile inlay that they put in with the imperfect tiles. You already know I'm not a huge fan of them. I think it works quite well for this, but it's giving like very Polly Pocket kitchen. The intense amount of pink really takes away from all this level of dimension that could make the space look great. Like I said, putting reading in that glass instead of the frosted, I think would have added to it. We need some level of depth and dimension in any space because once you have this entire monochromatic look, your eyes are automatically directed at the highest contrast point, which is the flooring, the outlets, and the few little black details, and then the windows of what you see outside, which makes it feel a little bit more overwhelming.
This is the bar. Now it is a bar, but it's also my little music room. So for this room, it was important to me that if I was home, I could use it to play guitar, play my harp, write music. I can put my DJ equipment right up here on the bar and with my computer and work on DJ sets for touring.
So I think this bar slash music room is really cool. I also love that they kept, once again, the heritage of the original framework for the doors and the windows. I like the paneling and that they inlaid the wallpaper within. It really gives it that level of dimension and texture that you need in a space, which completely contrasts the kitchen itself. The one critique that I have is I would have loved to see this almost aqua color that they have a little bit deeper green. I think would have really allowed this space to hone in and have that level of contrast. Because we have such dark windows, if you repeat that framing all around the space, even though you're getting a high contrast on the vertical and horizontal lines, it's gonna feel a little bit more cozy. I love that they carried the paint onto the ceiling. That is a great feature as well for any room, especially if you have a small space and you want it to feel more cozy and more cocooning. This is fantastic. I also love that this is a multifaceted room. They're using it as a DJ booth, a lounge, but also a bar. I would have loved to see a more eclectic display of the bar behind it with some maybe open shelves, and having that mirror larger, I feel like would have reflected the pattern throughout the space as well. But you know what? It's not too bad. I think they've really carried through a lot of the features. I love the dishware that also picks up on the patterns that are carried through the rest of the space that we've seen so far.
So now we're in the backyard, which is like a full-blown disco party back here. I mean, compared to the rest of the reno, the backyard here was beautiful. Part of why I wanted the house was because this backyard is beautiful. I mean, we're in Hollywood, California, which is like a very metropolis city area of LA. And you would never know back here. I mean, it's like a little oasis.
So far, the exterior, I think, is really great. They enveloped the entire space to feel like it's this outdoor jungle oasis. The mural on the backside of the home is absolutely fantastic. This is a missed opportunity that a lot of people don't consider, and this really adds to that feature and effect. They said that they didn't have to do anything to the pool, which, you know, it still works with the space. The one criticism I think they could have added to really heighten that pool feature of what looks like the hot tub and the pool and how they're connected, that tile inlay that they have a subway, I think you could have done something really, really fun, like a eccentric mosaic or something that picks up of the detail of what you have inside to have that pattern carried throughout, giving it that sense of movement. You could have done a really fun like herringbone or even a chevron to create that level of contrast of the cohesiveness throughout. I think the dishware that they had in the living room, even in the bar, you could have carried that same pattern outside and it would have been absolutely fabulous. And I also have to touch on the disco ball, the commitment. Like, you know, this is a gay man space. Like, this is the next level of a gay man space of having a rotating disco ball outside. She's not wrong though. If you have a disco ball in any space, you need to have it on a rotator. When the light hits it, it allows that reflection to really give you that 80s Studio 54 look, which really adds to it. If you have a disco ball that doesn't move and the light hits it in one side, you're getting a reflection just randomly on that side. You need that cohesiveness to really tie it all in, and I swear to God, that would be one really cool party in the evening. Even the afternoon, if they have that lit up, oh, like those would be fantastic parties.
Oh, this is the silver bar. Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, we call it the silver bar because David loves a cocktail and David loves gold and he loves animal print. So we have a lot of this gold detailing going on back here. And then there's this animal print tile bar.
I think that's a really great combination of what they did to turn this into like the silver bar. Of course, the joke that it's all gold and green. Once again, gold, green, pink, winning combination with whatever hue that you choose. I love the eclecticness of all of these different mirrors that have that starburst, which almost have that very Art Deco inspired look that really plays up to the exterior of this like Studio 54 vibe. I would have loved to see some kind of like lounge area back here, maybe some sectional that feels a little bit cozier. The bar itself just kind of feels like a standoff point with the seating around it. You could have made this space feel cozier and more inviting than just a little kind of sitting area. But at the same time, if you have someone like making drinks there, it's still gonna work in the space depending on how it functions.
Welcome to my closet. This is technically the primary bedroom, which is really interesting because it is the smallest room in the house. We didn't want to do anything where we turned it to a closet, but completely ruined the room.
I love the wallpaper that was committed to the entire room. I love the combination of this new and old. The one critique I would have had is all of the closets they added in here on each side. I probably would have done closed doors on them just to kind of hide everything itself, to let the room really accentuate the pattern of the wallpaper and these more muted hues that are brought up in the wood tones as well as the drapery.
This is where all the magic happens. Not sex, no, we actually do close-up magic in here. I'm getting really good at pulling a nickel out of people's ears. No, this is our bedroom. So this room compared to the rest of the house, if you think our vibe, I mean, this is an old Craftsman and we were reaching for like sexy, gay Hollywood Regency, fun textures and colors and prints and animal prints. This room ended up being a little more purposely spa.
Get creative. Oh my goodness, I love this. I also love that they went for a more calming, relaxing space for a bedroom. To have a house that is so eclectic and so maximalist, it plays on prints, it plays on patterns, it plays on shapes, it plays on shadows. Having a bedroom that is calming and serene is needed in these homes. If you go maximalist everywhere, it is overstimulating 99% of the time. And when you come home and you want a relaxing space to just shut down and actually feel less stimulated, where you can actually have a good night's sleep, I'm so glad that they were able to do this in the bedroom. Because if you were to bring that wallpaper in here, do something crazy on the ceiling, it's really challenging to really turn your mind off and relax to fall asleep. I can also appreciate the multifunctional pieces that they've added in. Instead of nightstands, they've combined 3 of them to make dressers. This is a great way of really adding that in. I love that they kept the paneling throughout. The bed and the bed frame itself is beautiful. You've allowed the bed to be the centerpiece of the room. And once again, you're not competing with a wallpaper and other textures and colors that take away from it. You've grounded the space with one center point, whether it be the bed or the headboard itself, depending on your preference. This is really well done. And once again, the color coordination of these greens and pink hues in a different shade feel cohesive to the entire house.
And that's basically my house. I have never owned a freestanding house. I really love it. It's a lot of challenges, like, you know, everything's always breaking and it's my problem now. No landlord comes to rescue me.
You know what? This was so much fun. I think that they did a fantastic job on the overall house. Once again, this is not my personal style, but they really tied a lot of these elements in together to really make it work. And I also love that every comment that came out of her mouth was the realistic expectation of renovations, securing shows, talking about items, and just like how you actually live in a space. It's so funny that she commented like, oh, this is my first freestanding home and I have to fix everything myself because it's my problem now. Once again, the reality of having a home versus living in a condo. Ugh, I love her. I think they did a fantastic job. I was a little worried when they first started because I was like, I don't know where we're going with this. But the fact that they brought in a designer to really help them create this lively space was done so well for this overall look, because maximalist, like I said, can go so wrong so quickly and so easily. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I love doing these reviews. So if you have any other celebrity homes that you've seen on YouTube, Architectural Digest reviewed or not, put them in the comments so I can add them to my list, because these are so great to review, to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and the fabulous. Be sure to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Gray for all my great videos. And Trixie, if you happen to watch this, I would love to come to one of your outdoor parties, so please, you know how to contact me. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do? Boom.